Welcome back. You're watching ED Inside. Every year, India consumes and exports nearly 100 million tons of iron ore. At this rate, the country will run out of iron ore by 2050. No wonder steelmakers want curbs on iron ore exports. But the mining lobby will have none of it. Can this fight be resolved through a proper iron ore utilization policy? Asha Gopalakrishnan finds out.
If you're thinking that this iron ore will end up in some form in your home or city, you're wrong. Last year, India exported close to 85% of its 226 million tons of iron ore produced. For steelmakers, that's a worrisome piece of statistic. But reserves are fast depleting and ore is becoming dearer by the day.
We have an acute shortage of iron ore. We cannot afford to export our iron ore outside because our steel industry is growing. And if you look the other side, the reserves limited. So therefore, we need to focus on iron ore to maximize the life of our iron ore mines.
So just how acute is the problem? And is there really a need to worry? The answer to that is closely linked with the mining minister's response to a query a few months ago on how long the reserves would last. Assuming that the ratio of iron ore to steel demand is 1.6:1 and there is no further discovery of iron ore and that exports stabilize at 100 million tons per year, the present resources would last for 134 years. And 140 tons of ore would be required annually at the current domestic steel production of 88 million tons. Iron ore reserves would last for 91 years if India touches 110 million tons of steel production by 2019 or 20, as predicted by the National Steel Policy, and the industry would need 176 million tons of iron ore per year. The Steel Ministry is worried about this and has raised the duty on export of ore lumps from 5% to 10% and imposed a 5% duty on fines. But the mining ministry is in a peculiar spot.
We should have a optimum utilization of raw material within our country rather than exporting it and then importing steel from outside.
Large number of people got engaged in this business. So the moment you discontinue export, a large number of people will go out of job.
There will have to be a via media, because of course as a country we cannot just state that we are stopping all exports. On the other hand, we have to ensure that we don't have a situation where we export iron ore and import steel.
But when it comes to iron ore, steel makers and miners are not exactly singing the same tune. The Federation of Indian Mineral Industries refutes the projected shortage of iron ore, saying appropriate exploration and technology could provide resources to sustain steel consumption of approximately 200 million tons for another 200 years. Miners claim India consumes only ore lumps and not fines, and only fines are exported. Steel companies disagree.
There is a view that the fines, which is a byproduct of the material, is there is no demand in India and we have to export. I totally disagree with that. There is a big demand even for fines, and for exporting, which is very lucrative today, people are converting even lump ore into fines.
To control this, many are advocating a national iron ore utilization policy on the lines of the coal policy. That, experts say, could help tackle illegal mining and conserve resources.
Utilization of this iron ore mines in the right hand is very important. Our government should make some laws, make some processing unit compulsory and mandatory, which will help to create the value creation.
But it's not the first time this suggestion has been made. 5 years ago, a similar suggestion had come up from the Steel Ministry, but it died a quiet death. This time round though, the need is far more pressing. Global giants like ArcelorMittal and POSCO have drawn up mega investment plans in India.
POSCO joint venture, 1.5 million ton what will cost roughly about 10,000 crore. 10 to 12,000 crore.
And even homegrown giants such as Tata Steel and JSW are working on big expansion plans.
It is a huge expansion costing us something around 13,000 or 14,000 crores. Depending on the scope, because there is going to be some slight increase in scope because of the current new environmental standards in the country, but let's say that's the order of magnitude. And for that you obviously have to raise the money.
Billions of dollars of their investment are at risk if the government doesn't get its iron ore utilization policy right.
Well, that's all in this edition of ED Inside. We'll be back next week, but until then, don't forget to write in with your feedback and suggestions. Thanks so much for watching.